Yeah, I'm super happy to be here with you, all of you today. With those of you who are watching live on stream, I don't know which, I guess that's the main camera over there. And those of you who would be watching the video on demand, my name is Martin. I'm part of the GoodGame team who had this, today I see an audacious idea to bring a very great format, very great initiative called Playing Narratives to Bulgaria. I say audacious because it's one of those things that if we knew how much energy and resources we would need to pull it off, we maybe would have thought twice before doing it. But since we didn't know, we started it, and then once you start something, I guess you can't leave it right in the middle. Yeah, so today will be for a couple of hours together. I'm super delighted to know in person most of you, and knowing for quite a while some of you, and more recently some of you. And I think today is a day of celebration and celebrating creativity in all its forms, or in quite a few of its forms. As almost every other event that we had here as part of Playing Narratives at the French Institute, always when we had an event, there were things happening in Sofia. First one was with the first and largest to date protest in Sofia. Then I think it is the war that started in Iran and everything. And today we have events as well. So whenever we have a Playing Narratives event in Sofia, there is something going on either in Bulgaria or in the world or both. Since not all of you are on the same page what Playing Narratives is and how it came to be here, I want to make a quick story. And run you through, actually first the agenda. So I'll make a small intro on the agenda today and a little bit of a story on what Playing Narratives is and how it came to be. Then we have a jury member and a friend, I dare say, from Serbia, Mihaela, who's director of the Serbian Games Association, who not only has 5 events of Playing Narratives under his belt, he and his team, of course, but also has the privilege to work in a very dynamic environment when it comes to video games. And they have recently, I think a month ago or so, finished their annual report for the state of the industry in Serbia, which he would share with us. For me, it would be 50% building understanding and 50% building aspiration and building enthusiasm. And then we would have the 6th finalist, which is definitely the most, anticipated part of the whole Playing Narratives format. And we have like a sort of a special presentation that organically came to be right before that. Then we would allow the jury, 15, 20 minutes to convene, discuss, evaluate. And in the meantime, I would share some news with you that are related to GoodGame and what's coming up ahead. And then we would have the winners, or the jury would announce their evaluation. In a format that I truly believe everyone's a winner, because it's about building knowledge and skills. And yes, of course, competition is competition. That we all know that. But I think here the journey is as important as it is the end result. And then we are inviting all of you to sort of get a drink with us over at Bar Friday, Petak, which is just like 500 meters away from here. And that's that. I say we begin, shall we? All right. Let's go. Really briefly, what Playing Narratives is, then how it came to be, and then Mihaela. So Joro, if you're kind of, yeah, Playing Narratives is a format that I like quite a lot when I saw. It's a quirky format, I would say, because on the one hand side, it invites young professionals between 19 and 30 years, so 19 and 30, to go into the program, which is 6 to 7 months, where we have in sort of like different specialties are divided into teams, and participants are being taught by experienced professional in the respective fields of animation, I'll just scroll down to show some of the lectures. Some are with us today. Nikolai, he led the 3D modeling team. Then Emmanuel led the creative writing. Martu and his team with Anna Maria and Bojan led the 2D and animation. We had Javor and Lubo running the music and sound design. So these 30 people, been with them for between 8 and 12 sessions, some of them online, some of them offline, a lot of interaction between that. And other than these closed sessions, we were here with some of Bulgaria's, I would say, most established professionals who shared opinions that sometimes differed, but each and every one of them sort of has left their footprint on what Bulgaria did up until this point, and I think what it would be doing in the coming months. So the whole thing started, I think, I don't remember when. I think November. We had applications running in October, so we had like roughly 5-to-1 ratio applications versus admissions. So it was, I think, like 130 something people applied for a total of 30 positions that were equally divided between these 5 specialties. And then in, I think it was April or perhaps March, we started building teams, and then the teams worked on their presentations and game concepts that we'll be presenting today. Shortly before that, I had the pleasure to be a jury member in the Playing Narratives in Serbia, where this abstract idea that was up until this point in my head came into realization and like to see there. And I was really moved by the energy and enthusiasm that I dare say I see here in the teams as well in the short rehearsals that we did. So I sort of stole some ideas and first-hand inspirations, and now the teams, the 6 teams that will be presenting, have worked together on building game concepts and presenting those concepts. So they're not building games, they are, or at least I don't know, planning to build those games and make it into reality at this point, this very point. So it's game concepts, and I will get a little bit more into the details on the evaluation criteria. Now, another aspect is how this whole thing came to be. I will be brief here because I'll touch it a little bit more on the next once the presentations are done. Basically, you have this brand called GoodGame, which is I don't know, could be perceived as many things, but long story short, bunch of enthusiasts, we gather together each year, we do an event where we fundraise, like we do a lot of things with gaming, we fundraise, and we always support one initiative that's related to building knowledge and skills. At the very beginning, almost 5 years ago now with GoodGame, we were like, okay, so what did games give us? Of course, they stole a fair portion of our elapsed time on planet Earth because we decided to invest them in playing games. But other than fun, we build knowledge and skills, and that's why we decided that GoodGame would always be about building knowledge and skills. And roughly 370 days ago, we were in the National Palace of Culture running the GoodGame LAN party, which was a 10 days non-stop event, gaming event, where we had all sorts of cool stuff, weird stuff, interesting stuff, boring stuff, well-organized stuff, messy stuff, but all of them related to gaming. We had quite a few partners there who sponsored the event, the LAN party. And when the brand sponsored the event, they helped us organize the event, but also portion of that investment went directly into Playing Narratives. Quite a few people made donations and purchased merchandise, where all the proceeds went to organizing Playing Narratives. And we have a sponsor, Big Loop Studios, who are also supporting directly Playing Narratives. And this all together brings, that's without a Big Loop, but like roughly 30,000 euros is the budget. That's the financial side of the budget, and I would say triple that the goodwill and time and effort spent by people. So because we did that 1 year ago, we have Playing Narratives now. And my ambition, desire, and I think it would become a reality soon, is that Playing Narratives is not going to be a one-off thing, but rather something recurring that would hopefully help us, I don't know, Yeah, I was thinking like 15 years ago, I was, and I shut up after that, I invite Mihaela. I was part of a very special event for me. It was organized by the European Festivals Association, which was an event in Beirut in Lebanon, which is torn by war now, called Atelier for Young Festival Managers. And there I had the pleasure to spend, I think it was 2 weeks with 40 people from around the world, together with some mentors, uh, like quite notable people in the broader sense in the cultural space. And to me, that experience was like, yes, the mentors and speakers were quite important. They shared quite a lot, but I remember the energy, the horizontal energy that occurred in the teams and the people that we still are in touch with them. And then seemed very like loosey, artsy, too abstract to me, the slogan of the atelier, which I don't remember word for word, but it was something like a festival is meant to bring artists together, engage with them, and dare them to create something new, something different. And following the energy and the discussions between all the participants in playing narratives, and not only them, but also the speakers and the lecturers there, I see this process, which to me personally, subjectively, is quite close to magic. Because somebody has a thought, it becomes a statement, then somebody picks the statement as a ball, throws it back, and then all out of a sudden, poof, a few months later, we have a presentation of a game and an idea of a team that's made it. So I'm saying all of this to say that I'm very sentimental towards this event and very happy to be here. And moving forward, I'd like to invite Mihailo on the stage, who would give us, you would give him applause and he would give us stuff. Honor and privilege to have you here. We'll mic you up now. You want a headset or do you want, okay. And clicker.
Thank you. So, thank you, Martin, for the great introduction. It's a shame you did not read the books before you watched the movie. Uh,
I haven't played Porto either up until the end, so I wrote the book.
yeah, like an attorney would say, like, just keep silent, don't add to the
Yeah.
police file. But yeah, thank you for the introduction. It's my honor and pleasure to be here. Martin did invite me to speak about the Serbian gaming industry, but uh, I'll do that a bit later. So, uh, playing narratives is a very special program for us because it is definitely not just one of the first major projects and programs we did in Serbia. It is still to date, I think, if not the most important, then definitely one of the most important projects and programs we are doing as an association. Why? Because the goal is very important and very noble. We are trying to help young, talented, passionate creatives learn and enter the gaming industry. And like ultimately that's one of the most important goals, that there's always fresh, talented, enthusiastic people who are bringing the fuel and energy to make games, because games are not products, games are not programs, they are in a way work of art. So there needs to be an X factor in them for them to be successful. And to get to that X factor, it takes a lot. So we need to cultivate that, and we need to help people get into this industry. And Martin used a very nice word. It's dynamic. We saw like a few days ago that Ubisoft closed its office in Belgrade, so that's part of the dynamic environment we are. But uh, even if we look at like the big companies and big studios, and like a lot of the news are grim and dark, that's not what the industry is all about. It's not about the AAA games, the big studios, the big titles. The industry is about any and all games, and no matter how small the games is, it's still it's still a game. It's still a work of art on its own. And the aspiration is not, gaming is not a career. Video games industry, it's not a career. It's it's like it's a vocation, it's a calling. So if you like to make games, if that's like what fills your heart with joy, then that's what you need to do. No matter if you're doing it in a big studio, on your own, with your friends, alone, it does not matter. So I like and I love play narratives because it helps people make that jump and make that connection and like flip the light bulb that says, okay, I can do it, we can do it, there's other people who I can do it with, and so on. So yeah, I'm very proud that this important program went beyond Serbia and beyond what we envisioned it 5 years ago, with the help of the French Institute and Goethe Institute, who supported it for the first time in Serbia and who are now supporting it here in Bulgaria. So yeah, uh, very happy, and I do hope that it continues. That's a big hope. I will not go longer. I'll give you a brief overview of like where we are in the industry now in Serbia, so you have an idea. So this was the very first project. So like the very first thing we ever did, like when we started 8 years ago, is like, okay, we need the numbers to know where we are. We need to know what's happening, so we can do something to make it better. So this also works for games. Like it's fine to make whatever you want, but if you're trying it to be also successful, you need to look at the data too. So this is the industry at a glance. So this is snapshot of 2025. Um, let's say 200 million euros of revenue, about 100 studios working in there, around 4,000 people. We're very proud that a third of all of them are women, and that a third of all the team leads are again women. Serbia is still, let's say, most successful in mobile games, and there's a lot of games in development. Uh, what's important here is this number up top. Most of the studios are making their own games, so it's not about outsourcing, providing services and doing, let's say, what the general IT industry is all known about. Serbian studios are making their original games. So they are making something which is their own property, most of them. Um, and yeah, as you can imagine, most of them are in Belgrade. Yeah. Um, the games. So there's a lot of them. You can see the top genres: puzzle, casual. That means more mobile. But this is because this is the legacy. If you look at the landscape, the old, most successful Serbian companies come from the mobile sector. So they are still the big players. They are still the ones with the most revenue. Those are the most successful games and so on. But what we see is that the new generation, the new studios, they are more about PC. They are more about let's say hardcore type of games. So it's it's starting to shift, but uh, the reality is the money is still in mobile. Um, a little bit again about the games and about AI. I don't know how controversial that topic is here, but in Serbia it's very hot topic. Like you mentioned AI, and you see pitchforks starting to be raised and torches being lit. The sentiment is people hate it. AI is taking our jobs, especially art. Art. If you're using AI in art, then you don't want to talk about it. But in reality, again, the data says most of the companies are using it, and again, most of them are satisfied with the use of AI. So for us now, like we're trying to address this kind of elephant in the room, where people are using it, people are satisfied with it, but publicly we all hate it. Okay, so I'm sure there's some kind of middle ground. We're trying to find it. What's definitely true, it's making the process faster. You can prototype faster. You don't have to make the final version of your game with AI, but you can make something much faster than you could make it before. And that's important because much faster you can test it, put it out there, give it to people, and see if it's just a bad idea. So AI can be a tool, it can be helpful, just it's important where and how you use it. But uh, yeah, you can then see like most of the games are still using Unity. That's the primary engine. Unreal is a big one, number two. And I would say Godot is starting to pop up when it comes to engine use. Um, Talent, Serbia, like 3-4 years ago, had maybe half this number. Then war in Ukraine started, and we got a huge influx of people coming to Serbia, which doubled the amount of people. So a lot of professionals from Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, they relocated and are now in Serbia, which doubled the industry. And for us now, the challenge and the task is connecting the new people with, let's say, the indigenous population, and making it work. Um, I won't mention again how important and proud we are of all the women working in the industry. Um, and we started measuring this sad facts about layoffs, people losing their jobs, and so on. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's dark and sad, but I believe it's an opportunity, and it needs to be taken like that. Uh, there's there is opportunity there in gaming, in video games industry. Whether now it's in AAA or indie or AA, that's up to you. But I would say that the fact that we see AAA titles and big studios doing the layoffs and having some bad releases is equally offset by the number of good releases and success of the smaller games. So, like, when we look at the very, very broad picture, there's no less people playing games, there's no less money being, paid, there's no less interest. It's just shifting. Maybe we don't want to pay 70 or 80 euros for a AAA game. We would rather pay 4 times 20 euros for smaller games. So, there needs to be some outside of the box thinking there. Uh, the culture, as I mentioned, the big thing is integrating the newcomers with the old crew, and then for the first time ever, we're like measuring how optimistic people are. And for the first time ever, nobody was very optimistic. So, um, of course, people are being cautious. Um, of course, what they all want is some help from the state and government, which is sadly lacking. Uh, Financing, this is also very important because we see that the most of the money the studios are getting is their own revenue. So it's coming from the games they're selling on their own. So it's not just money being pumped in and then projects failed, but it's most of it's successful studios who are successfully monetizing and selling their games. Um, yeah. When we look at the finances, we analyze just the top 15 companies because they bring in, let's say, 95% of all the revenue. And um, again, we're proud that the products are the largest share. You can see that out of those 4,000 people, almost 3,000 is again working in the top 15 studios. What's interesting for us is that when we analyze the companies which are still majority Serbian owned, the situation gets drastically different because we saw that this, let's say, first wave and first generation of Serbian companies, they all got bought, or they sold to the big players, to the big international companies. And when we look at now who are the Serbian companies in terms of ownership, it's mostly now the smaller studios. And then if you remember, the total revenue is like 200 million, and you can see that the Serbian owned revenue is about 30. So it's, let's say, roughly 10-15% of the whole revenue of the industry. So for us, also one of the big picture goals is how do we set up, the next generation. So you had the first mutant generation, and now we're trying to see who is the next one. And I'll finish with the trends, because now when we have the historical data, we can then very easily see, what's changing. So we had like this number of people going up, 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 and now it's starting to come a bit down. The same goes with the number of studios. It was going up, 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 and then now we're like, okay, this is where we are now. Games published, that's like a big decrease, the lowest number ever. But it's also connected to the fact that we are moving away from mobile games, which are published very fast. The development cycle is it's short. But now when we see the projects which are more, let's say, ambitious, more PC console, it's coming down. So it's, let's say, that number is maybe misleading without the context. So yeah, this is the brief snapshot, as brief as I could make it, with some additional comments. I'll be here for as long as I can after the event to answer the questions. But yeah, now I would leave it to Martin to announce, I guess, the next stage of this great event. Thank you.
Thank you, Mihaela. I should be unmuted now. Yep, there you go. This last slide is especially interesting because I know how hard it is to make one research and report. Bulgaria hasn't had any. I mean, they were like some super superficial ones. But when you stuck like that many years of monitoring, it is then when you actually start understanding not only what it is, but how things are working. Okay, so we're a little bit ahead of time. Sandra tells me with her professional journalist look. And we've already seen one of the members of the jury. And then I would go left from right, from where I see it. Jorka, I need your support here. Or we messed up, like, no, you show a picture and I tell it so I don't mess up with your order. Yep, thank you. That's Yasin. How many of you won't know what a game jam is? Only half of the people. Okay. How many of you have participated in one? Quite interesting. Like some people did not know what game jam was, but they participated in one, which is good. Okay, so Bulgaria's most, like oldest in the sense of like most consecutive years running and best attended is Plovdiv Game Jam, who also sort of like a success of one Bulgarian company can be seen intertwined with Plovdiv Game Jam. That's That Must Die, $7 indie with an excess of 1 million copies sold, or at least that's the public data reports, by a team based in Plovdiv. And Yasin wears two hats. One is an indie game dev and a development service studio. That's one. So he knows the hustling as an entrepreneur, but also he annually, together with the team at Plovdiv Game Jam, hosts quite a few people that are building games within 72 hours and then pitching them and presenting it. So to me, it made a lot of sense to invite him as a jury, and he accepted. And he also shared like how teams can present well from his perspective earlier. Who's next, Joro? Ivailo Koravsky, a person, yeah, I've known him. I don't know for how long I've known him. There is like a lot of people, because like to every marketing person in Bulgaria, I'm the guy that knows about gaming, and to most of the gaming people, I am the guy that knows the marketing side of stuff. But when I need an answer on a video game, there are a few people that I call. Ivail Kwarowski is one of them, not only because he is the type of person that voraciously reads and organizes information in his head, but he's also been an editor of NeoGamer, not only an editor, but a founder. That's some of you may be surprised, but back in the days, there were magazines for video games. So he founded NeoGamer. Then he was part of many editorial crews, and he still writes behind gameindustry.bg on Facebook, and also has quite decent entrepreneurial experience now in making games, and as of most recently, a truck driving simulator throughout the United States of America. It's the latest game he had, so I thought that his experience and his, I don't know, like historical but also outward looking perspective would be quite valuable to have in the jury. Then who's next? It's Milin from Arc Academy over there. Him and I share something in common beside the gray hair, is that he before, like I knew of him before I met him, and what I knew of him was that he led the team of Sachi and Sachi, which is one of Bulgaria's globally larger marketing servicing companies, advertising. I don't want to get specific there, but when we met, it was, I think, a couple of meters away from here some 10 years ago, when he was telling me about what he's about to do with Arc Academy, which is now de facto one of the key places in Bulgaria when it comes to building and fostering talent. So yeah, he at Arc Academy, even today, I think you had a special event there. So they do a cycle, which is in a way similar in terms of a concept, but very different in terms of intensity, specificities, and depth, where teams are brought together, work together, and build a concept of a game. Not only a concept, but actually a prototype. So that's his second event, I guess, today, which he would be evaluating in that sense. And then I think we have one more. Do you remember? That's Mihaela, Mary, from... I still, like, it takes a little bit of time because I've always known her as the marketing / biz dev person at Imperial Online, one of the larger companies that was like homegrown in Bulgaria, and then was the founders exited towards Steelfront, a Swedish group. But Mary is the person that I've seen at every Gamescom event that I've been, and I think she's been to a few more that I haven't, and quite a few other events. So the idea of pitching an idea to someone that's busy, tired of all the other game concept that he's heard, and then being pitched at is something that he did for the living for quite a few many years. She is still sort of doing that at Envisio, her new endeavor, Canadian company. And she's also a member of Women in Games, a foundation. Is it foundation or is it? It is a foundation, yeah, which, as the name suggests, is focused on topics related to representation and equity, I guess. I don't know what's the right term there. But she's been around. She's actually mentoring quite a few people, including people in this course of playing narrative. And we had Mihaela, whom we introduced with another hat, yet he bears none. Yeah, so that's our jury for today. And they would be evaluating the presentations. And I'd like to ask for applauses for them because they... Yeah. And now that we know who the jury is, we have the first team that I would like to welcome here. They're a special story. They're not part of the 6 team that are presenting their game concepts, but they came and said, you know, Martin, we kind of, you know, we already formed the team. We have a concept and then we'll be working at it. I'm like, well, but we haven't started organizing the team. So yeah, well, but we're halfway through the concept. So is there a way that we can actually present it? And I thought that, I don't know, such spontaneous and good energy should be motivated, incentivized. So I said, sure, yes. And so before we get into the six presentations, I would like to invite, let me see, I'm finally looking at the notes. Okay. We have, oh, wait. Damn it. Discord, where are you when I need you? No, Kimas, damn it. I forgot the name of your team. Sorry. I'm super embarrassed by it. Wait, just a second. Yep. That's Key Smash. And that's Kiley and Mihaela. Please. Yeah. Now that they're getting mic'd up, just a few housekeeping stuff. We have water if anybody gets thirsty. They're just right outside with carton cups. Please help yourselves. And the teams, we have 6 teams. You know your order. So that's when we see practical information is always helpful. Then the team that would be coming up next, please get ready at, to mic you up before the next team arrives. Dear members of the jury, do you have everything you need? Pen, okay. We have a box of pencils somewhere here. Maybe I can offer a beer instead. Or a pair of socks? No? I'll fix you with one. You don't need it yet. Ladies, the stage is yours. You have a timer that would be running there. Please try to abide by it. Otherwise, you would have to think of dinner.
Okay. Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Mihaela.
And my name is Kiley.
And this is Spellpath. Imagine being stuck inside a cursed board game that's trying to slow you down so other players can try to find and kill you. Well, this is basically what our game is. Every move you make is a decision and a risk. And the typical throwing of dice to progress is not all you need to consider during your turn. We took inspiration from the classic board game Ludo, but we reimagined it as a tense, immersive survival experience, taking the core concept of rolling a dice to move your pawns around the board in a race to be the first to reach the center of the gate. We added to that the Super Mario Party Jamboree traps and setbacks you set for other players to delay them, and we put all that into a Friday the 13th haunted and survival environment. Where we aim to have the players feel like they're both the hunter and the prey. So what does all that look like combined? It's a dark fantasy horror PvP turn-based strategy game where each player takes a turn, rolls the dice, and has to decide whether to advance or stay in one place in order to get abilities later on to help them defend themselves against other players. The board is divided into 4 corrupted realms filled with traps, shortcuts, and bigger traps. And you have to be careful because if you advance too quickly, you become the biggest threat of the board and players will unite to beat you down and kill you. But if you move too slowly, you are most likely to win the game, lose the game.
We also added some unique features. We wanted to emulate the authentic emotional roller coaster that the classic game of Ludo brings and amp it up. Originally, you can just move, push, and to be mean, give only mercy to other players, only if you happen to by chance land on other players' style. So we wanted to give more control and choice to the players by adding what we call spells. You can collect spells by winning games or opening chests, and you can organize them into decks of 3 spells, increasing in strength before matchmaking. So, in this way, you can customize your characters and choose your strategy and playstyle. The spells have a different cost during gameplay and require fragments. You get fragments by rolling the dice and getting a result of 4 or more.
The gameplay is divided into 4 elements. Roll to roll, players avoid traps and have to decide whether to stay in one place or advance, and they pick which soul they want to advance with. Minute to minute is about managing your abilities, forming or breaking alliances when possible and if necessary, and managing the spells you have. Sector to sector, arguably the most important one, is mastering each round, finding out where each trap lies, writing it down so you can better maneuver it the next time you get out of the spawn area. Until the next game when they will be randomized again. And finally, Run to Run encourages people to experiment with characters, abilities, and strategies to form entirely new gameplays. This is how a typical game flows. So you roll the dice in your spawn area, you get a 6 to get out, and then you have to decide if you want to progress or not. You need to choose between your 3 souls, which one you want to advance on the board, and as you advance, encounters occur. Encounters are when players are in close enough proximity to each other to use their abilities, or if they step on the same tile. If they do the latter, they are presented with the decision, either kill the enemy to free the path ahead, or spare them, thus forming an alliance. Alliances are powerful but temporary and fragile. They do not have a timer or a set of turns until they expire. They're entirely dependent on whether the enemy chooses to kill you the next opportunity they get, or spare you in order to better your chances at taking down the person in the lead. If, however, the player does kill you, you are moved to the closest soul you have on the board. If you have no such soul on the board, you move back to the spawn area where you need to re-roll a 6 to re-enter the race. All in order to get to be the first to get all 3 souls to the center stage and save them. There are 4 corrupted realms along the board with unique traps and mechanics. The Cursed Forest is home to living roots, magical trees, and mischievous fairies. The Abandoned Mine is a system of rail tracks, explosive traps, explosive traps and crumbling mines and roller coasters. The Nightmare Inferno is a crumbling landscape with erupting volcanoes that you want to try and escape. And the Deserted Bay is home to dangerous waters, whirlpools, and sirens.
As you just saw, the realms are based on natural elements and phenomena. There are also factions, you can see them here, bound to these realms, and these factions are represented by our 4 characters here. They're Vexar, Talis, Veridan, and Ignivar. These are the names of the factions. The characters began as 2D concepts, and they all look according to their elemental powers. You can switch. Then these 2D concepts got ran through 3D AI software, and then I rigged them and animated them. All of these characters have very unique personalities and also play styles, which gives the players a way to choose how they approach the game and their enemies as well. We can talk about abilities now and how they work. These abilities there are passive abilities to each character, which makes the character unique for its own faction. And also you can see example decks of spells, which are interchangeable with other spells of the same faction. You win. Each character has a different personality, as I said. So the Servitor, which is the representative of the Veridan faction. She's all about resurrecting and defending her souls. There is Vexar, who is the robot, the hollow worker, and he is all about manipulating dice results. He's calculative and he's repetitive, so he can move 2 souls at a time, he can manipulate your dice results, and he can make you reroll. Then we have the Burning Prisoner, who is the representative of the Ignivar faction, and he is all about control and aggression in a small range of motion. And then we have the Abandoned Princess, who represents the Talis faction, and she's all about movement. Then we have the design, an example design of the UI, and we imagined it to be compatible with playstyle with mouse and keyboard. So you have Q, W, and E for the abilities. You have space to roll the dice, and you also have a history log, so you have to be very careful about what is happening on the map and following that history log because it has very cryptic information. And you also have a map where you only see yourself.
Now, we've talked about mechanics and intentions, but now we'd like to show you our visual development and where we are at creating the game itself. We'll start with an environment that was made in Unreal and the aforementioned characters. Enjoy. Now, what you see before you is the path players must take around the board. It's the tiles in each round, as well as the landscape transition between the rounds. Of course, secret shortcuts are not included. They're for the players to find out later on. There's also the spawn area and the final landscape that leads to the central gate. This is stylized, and it's just the concept that we plan to make as the style you saw in the video before you. Now, in each round, there's a total of 35 tiles with 2 safe tiles, which are the first and last tile of each round. One tile that moves you forward if you're lucky enough to step on it. And then 11 neutral tiles, 14 traps that set you back, that can include anything from pushing you 2 or 3 tiles back to capping your dice at 3, not allowing you to progress faster or load your abilities, and many more. And finally, there's one big boss trap that holds you back the longest. And now, the boss traps are implemented differently in each round. They have a different visualization, but the logic remains the same. You need to pass 6 or more tiles in one go, or try again next turn. In the water area, there is a pool of sirens that are trying to lure you and drown you. In the forest, there's a swamp that you need to get across. In the lava, there is a chase sequence of sorts when a volcano erupts and you want to get across. And in the mine, there is a roller coaster that you want to get down from. Now, there are 11 smaller traps, as we said, that do not have a cinematic animation that triggers them, like the boss traps, but they are still presented differently. The mechanics remain the same, but the visuals are thematic to each round to better reinforce the identity of those rounds. We plan to create live streams, have a big social media presence to gather a target audience for our game.
And we plan to target people who enjoy board games, casual multiplayers, or PvP games, and people who like the fantasy aesthetic, maybe people who enjoy playing League of Legends, TFT, or Mario Party.
Initially, we wanted to create a free mobile game that were yeah, it's we're almost done. We wanted to make a free mobile game. However, to better immerse the players, we decided to go ahead and make a PC game. And since we developed it in Unreal, we plan to launch it on Steam with no paywalls for further development, and with initially paid. You pay like €5 to buy it, and then maybe we make it free later on to get more downloads.
Yeah, after all, the game expansions allow a lot of monetization by adding different play modes, different skins, a lot of emojis, for example, for more player interaction during the game, and also more realms, more characters, and so on.
This project was brought to you by a small multidisciplinary team of three.
My name's Kiley Ashova, and I worked on character abilities, design, and animation, and I collaborated on the game mechanics with
Me, Mihaela. I'm the director, and I worked on the environments, the lighting, and level layout, as well as the special effects. And Stuart, who couldn't be here today, worked on the sound design and music you heard in the show Rio. He will also help us develop the game and actually code the thing into existence. This was Spellpath, a board game that you wish to escape from, but you can't get enough of. I hope you join us. Thank you.
Well, it was a nice start, I would say. And I would like to invite the team that's called itself Ekip, which is sort of a synonym for a team in Bulgarian, to tell us about their game and hopefully to learn why did they choose a name that may sound prosaic, but maybe it is not. I don't know. And now we're getting into the first game that's part of the curriculum of playing narratives. And yeah, the presenters have a timer that counts 12 minutes. And they have another 3 for Q&A. No, I'm just saying to everyone in the audience, but also to people online. Once you're ready, I'll brief you.
Prova.
Yes, works.
It works?
Yes. So over there, you see the presentation and also you see the timer. You have 12 minutes and another 3 for Q&A. So if you would be able to be around that, it'd be great.
We'll try.
We'll try.
Go. Yeah, hopefully you're encouraging applauses for Team Ekip to start it off. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. We're Team Ekip, or they did that came with the idea for the project. My name is Ivan.
And my name is Laura, and today we will be presenting to you our game project, Humanity Not Found. Something very important to mention before we continue with the presentation is that we have used artificial intelligence throughout the creation process of our project. Please don't cue us for that, guys. Whenever you see this image on the screen, that is basically the meaning behind it.
404 Humanity Not Found is a top-down single-player action shooter where you build absurd modular weapons and fight AI-controlled robot army.
Our target audience is people between the age of 16 and 35. We are targeting action shooter fans. The main platform we're aiming for is a PC first, and we're planning to distribute our game on Steam. Our business model is a premium, it is a one-time purchase, and we do not plan to have any pay-to-win mechanics or microtransactions that could possibly affect the gameplay. The price is somewhere between 10 to 15 euro, which we believe is a pretty reasonable price for the game on Steam.
These are our game references. The weapon system from Noita and Mother Gunship are inspiration for our weapon customization system, which we will see later. And art style from Space. from space, and the atmosphere from Stray. These are some of the things that we've tried to do, and I hope they worked. And they all serve as the foundation of our game. At the heart of our game is a deep and extremely and highly experimentation weapon system in which players build weapons by combining, as of right now, over 70 different modules. And this number does not include the traditional percentage increases like damage, range, fire rate, and etc. The modules come in different rarities. They can combine with one another, they can change, they can enhance, and they can influence one another as well. The result is a system built around player expression and experimentation. And the idea is that we want to see how many different combinations can our players make. This is some of the
The
weapons.
designs for the weapons. And this is our 3D model.
The gameplay loop is very simple. It's you enter levels, you fight enemies, robots. You collect currencies like scrap. You also collect modules. After that, you modify, you improve, you change your weapon, and rinse and repeat. Players take on different missions such as clearing enemy forces, defending key locations, positions, and rescuing and escorting survivors. Along the way, they battle a variety of robotic enemies while navigating hazardous environments full of traps and interactable elements. In our game, you play as Alex, absurd inventor, on a quest to save his girlfriend Maya from the clutches of an evil AI called Smile. Smile has conquered most of humanity using its vast army of robots and the reaches of social media, and is now trying to reshape the world in its own twisted logic. The game explores the moral topic of AI through a humorous and absurd lens, combining lighthearted adventure with a surprisingly believable vision of the future. To reach his girlfriend, Alex must travel through the city's different districts and battle hordes of robots, mechanical bosses, and help the survivors he encounters along the way. But at the same time, he's never truly alone. Throughout his journey, he's constantly watched by Smile, the artificial intelligence responsible for the city's collapse. The AI appears through different screens, ads, billboards, and he can even take the bodies of the robotic enemies.
Thank you. So this is the character sheet of our main character, as you already saw. His name is Alex. He is a very cheerful and intelligent guy. He is an inventor by profession, and he creates all of his weapons by himself. Our main inspiration for his personality was the guy from Ratatouille. And Eve's design basically tells you that this guy just got out of home by his underwear and woofy slippers in order to save the world from an artificial intelligence invasion. Then we did something right with his design. This is the 3D model for Alex, and that is how he basically is going to look like on the 3D space. And these are our enemies. As you can see, we have a variety in terms of visual language, but they also have different abilities. Some of them are more tankier, the others are moving faster, third ones could deal a huge amount of damage, and that is basically going to make the gameplay much more challenging. Throughout the gameplay, we are going to introduce you to new enemy types as well. We had some discussions regarding having boss fights at the end of every couple of levels, which is going to make the gameplay more interesting and basically build anticipation during the gameplay. This is a 3D model for my personal favorite character. His name is Robot. He's a robot and a rabbit at the same time. He's very cute. And the next thing is something very important that we wanted to show you, and that is our in-game screenshot. Why this was so important to have is because it shows you how our actual gameplay would look like, and it solves some very important questions regarding the atmosphere of the game, the setting, the characters, basically the level of detail, how they're readable on the screen, and we really tried to implement the world building throughout the environment. We also did some user interface exploration. As you can see, we have our next objective, the main character's health bar, his ammo, and a top-down view of the map. How an NPC encounter would look like in our game. So the NPC encounter is a very interesting feature because it basically allows the player to relax in between the shooting sessions. And what happens is you basically find the NPC on the map. Every NPC has its unique story and a unique location during the level, and you basically just click on it. And what is going to happen after that?
If the city wanted is gone, why does it keep leaving the lights on?
This visual novel window pops up on the screen where you get to have a little dialogue with the main character and the NPC, and you get to learn more about the world building behind our game, the characters, their story. And now we are going to introduce to you our soundtrack created by our colleague Alex. Thank you so much for your attention. We hope that you enjoyed our presentation.
Thank you very much. The jury will get a mic. Don't go anywhere. Said some questions.
Oh no.
Just like 2 or 3 questions, please. So we move with the pace. And one thing that I forgot to give is a complex team for that. I just want to say it now. Also,
Juret?
is and the jury has been asked to focus on Kratos.
Great stuff. Now, yeah, really quick one. Both the jury and the teams were asked to focus on game concept, creative vision and identity of the game, audiences and business model, the quality of the presentation and the use of media, and of course, the answers they provide to the question. So these are the criteria of evaluation, which is important for everyone to understand why things are shaped the way they are. So, go on.
Congratulations on the presentations.
Thank you.
It was excellent. As an old man, I want to play your games, which is good. And I've seen you are inspired from Stray, which I'm a fan of. And you brought from there quite a lot of things. This game also reminds me of it's a series of games, Steam World Dick. You know this one. Visual style is very similar, which is a plus for me. My question is in regards to your platform of choice. Why Steam only? What is the reason behind it?
Because we think that for this kind of game, the other option is what console. That those are the only 2 options as of right now.
First, there is other stores in. I know that they're not that popular in on PC. Steam is the more popular, but there is also Epic Game Store, but also Switch. Switch is quite popular, and I think your game can have a great traction there as well. Users, Nintendo users will like your game for sure. PlayStation as well. So you can think about the platform for sure.
Yeah, the idea was that it will be a little harder for a shooter to be on the console because
I mean, yeah. My question is it about the budgeting,
no,
or just a creative choice about the platform?
no, I don't think it's about the budgeting, right?
This is basically the first thing that we're aiming for, and later, if our game succeeds, then we can start thinking about releasing it on consoles, for example,
Yeah.
depending
Also-
on the success.
Also, excellent work on the price. I think this can be successful as well. It's very important. At the moment, if you look at the most successful games for the last few years on Steam, they're not AAA prices game titles. So this is a good choice as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great presentation. Just quick question, Unity or Unreal?
Probably Unity.
Okay. Next one.
Yeah, I definitely liked the presentation and the game. What do you think about the storyline and adding a bit more humor and more crazy stuff in the game and in the narrative? When seeing the game, it also brings me a bit of Borderlands vibe, and they have very crazy and silly humor. So I would love to see such things over there. Do you plan adding things like that?
Yes, Borderlands was one of the inspiration for the tone of the narrative, and yeah, we plan to have different interactions. And that's what I was going to say. That's what I was trying to say with the thing that Smile constantly watches our protagonist. He'll be something like Handsome Jack in the Borderlands. I think they will have something similar dynamic between the two.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential in there. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Yes, first, thank you for the energy and the whole flow of the presentation. It was great. It seems that we have fun with this, which is very important in the end. As Corella said, I'm curious about this game, so I probably would like to try it, especially with my son together. But so a few questions. I like the weapon customization, which is in the heart of your and this kind of uniqueness of the game. My question is why people would love to make to customize more and more weapons.
We hope that they're curious enough to do it.
Okay, so just because they're curious, or there's some specific purpose? I mean, I just wonder. And it's not tricky question.
Yeah. We had that discussion that players may find a suitable build that kills everything, and the idea is that when they play, they would get new stuff, new modules, new upgrades, and they would want to try it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, great presentation. Thank you. Love the music. What would you say is the most unique thing about your game?
Probably the weapon customization.
Yeah, I just want to say one final thing related to your answer to his question. One of the things, there is one great channel on YouTube, Game Maker's Toolkit, and he was analyzing some game design choices about some games, and I forgot which quote it was from a director from a very big studio. It was like the players love to optimize the fun out of the game. So if the customizations are fun to try, do not rely on the people on their curiosity to try them. Most likely they're going to get to create a very overpowered build, and they're not going to try anything else. So you need to put level design choices into the game to incentivize the players to keep rebuilding the weapons, because the curiosity is not going to get you there.
Yes, we had that discussion, like I said, and there was an idea that the enemies themselves, they will adapt to your weapons, and you have to constantly switch and adapt yourself. But as of right now, I don't think we were confident enough to put it in the presentation.
Of course.
But you're both right.
Thank you.
Do we have Time for last question.
Minus 5 minutes, but plus one. Yes, please go. Fast one.
Okay. Okay, final questions. I will be fast. How are you planning to tell the story with voiceovers, or what is there specific mechanics to tell the story of the world, because it looks interesting? Also about the story about the world, environmental design. What elements are you going to use? I mean, do you have any ideas about it? Are you going to use just mumbo jumbo Nintendo type, or you're going to use voiceovers or cutscenes or anything?
Well, it will be some combination of cutscenes and the thing that or the NPC
NPCs.
The city
encounters
wanted is gone. Why
were
does it keep leaving
inspired
the
by
lights on?
the Hades NPC dialogue.
Yeah.
And it will be a combination between the two.
Okay, thank you.
And also throughout the overall design of the world.
Thank you. This was our first team, Team Ekip. Thank you, guys. Now, miking up the cursed piglets are next on stage. Our second participant today. Second team part of Playing Narratives. Camellia and the cursed piglets. And to speed up things a little bit, I will ask Anna Maria to be towards the end of the presentation, our next presenter from Hala Helpers, the third team, to be around the technical desk, so she's mic'd up on time. And we try to catch up with with a crude delay. Sure, but I think I'll give you 5 minutes. No. Yes.
Oh, I'll talk in.
Okay, the event would end tomorrow, 5 p.m. We're not gonna leave. No, I'm just joking. Please, Camellia and the cursed piglets and her team.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having us. I promise the cursed piglets will be explained later because it has something to do with our story. Before I present to you the game, I'd like to tell you a little story. Some of you may have heard about the idiom choosing between Siwa and Charybdis, which is basically choosing the lesser evil. But how many of you know that Siwa, such a big name, was not always a monster? Before that, there was someone who turned her into a monster. A forgotten figure who's not known to anyone, who has appeared once in Homer's Odyssey, and just a character from Greek mythology who's forgotten. This was the main inspiration for our games, especially with the rising of Epic the Musical's fandom and also the upcoming The Odyssey movie. I present to you Circe. Picture Hollow Knight, but instead of playing as the knight, you play as Circe, the daughter of the Greeks' sun god Helios. And instead of being in the Hollow Nest, you are transferred to the island of Aiaia, which is where Circe was thrown by her father. She cannot leave the island, she can just explore, or so you think at first, because that's the reason that she is there. But there are many more things that you can do that you just don't know yet. This is the map of the game. It looks pretty much like the Hollow Knight map. You start at the palace, which is, I don't know how to use the pointer, thank you, but it's on the left side. And then you move your way up to face your father and maybe try to overcome him. And even as you do that eventually, and you move up to fight the real big guy, who is Zeus, who is also the other person who threw you onto the island.
But her real mission isn't to just fight bosses and discover everything that's on the island. The real mission is for her to discover herself, and also the player. You face many adventures. There will be a lot of enemies and puzzles who will require the player to prove themselves and find their own style. There are a few weapons in the game. This is something that I think makes the game a bit more fun. You can choose the way you want to play. You can have the basic weapon, which is her sight, and also her magic wand that you're gonna see in a little. There are 4 total play styles, but before that, I forgot to mention. Here's where the big thing comes. Cersei is most famous for her magic and her transformation magic. In the Odyssey, she turns Odysseus's men into pigs, which is something that's gonna happen here. You have your wand, which will use magic, and you can see the magic bar up here. It's kind of like mana. And when the enemies are low enough or in different situation, you can actually do something like a polymorph to disarm them and make your combos and your attacks easier overall. Aside from the basic weapons, these are her weapons. You can also complete quests and choose your own path to steal someone else's weapons. We have firstly Odysseus's bow. He will appear as one of the main characters for the story, and you can choose to befriend him and help his men and also learn a lot of other stuff. But you can also choose to kill him and his men, which will help you acquire his weapon and his powers. And that will make you go a little bit down the dark path. Another thing you can acquire is someone who I have still not mentioned yet, but some of you may be familiar with this scepter. That will be Hermes. He will be your best friend, your guide, and also your map maker. He's the one who draws the map, but the map is not fully complete, of course, because you as the player have to unlock the full potential of it. With completing his quests and all of his hideous adventures that he sends you on, he will lend you his stuff so you can go to the path of redemption. Redemption, I say, that is something I said earlier with Stiwa. She's a monster that you made. Stiwa was once a nymph, but because Cersei was too jealous of her, she turned her into a 6-headed snake type monster, which now lies in the deep sea, quite next to Charybdis, which is an underwater monster that makes huge whirlpools. Which is the first boss you have to find to get to the final destination. So yeah, with Hermes' magic, with your skills and powers, you will eventually get to some unexplored deep waters. There will be a lot of dialogue in the games. Here you can see a little model of Cersei and Hermes talking. Just like Hollow Knight, there will be many little benches to sit on so you can set your set points because nobody wants to return back from home every time they die. And we have a little video, but before I end the presentation, I'd like to thank my team for helping us make this whole thing come true. We have Mihaela, which you already met. She helped with the animations you're about to see. We have Anelia, who made the music for our video. And we have Martin, who made the 3D models that you are about to see.
Thank you for the presentation. My question is, I want your point of view why I will choose your game before many others Metroidvania games that are available today, specifically.
When we first started working on this, I was thinking to myself, one of my favorite, all-time favorite games is Hollow Knight. But when you finish Hollow Knight, there's nothing you can play that feels the same, except for Silk Song, which came out just last year. And when you finish Silk Song, there's nothing that just feels the same. Every Metroidvania is different, but it doesn't have the same thing that Hollow Knight has. The I don't know if it's just the art style. I have tried almost every single one of the most popular ones when you say Metroidvania game, but it's just not Hollow Knight.
Okay.
And my idea was to create something that is not Hollow Knight, but have this home feeling of Hollow Knight, of nostalgia, and maybe a little difference in the general look out of the game, because most of the games are a bit more edgy, a bit more.
So you're targeting that niche, Hollow Knight niche, and the players that like Hollow Knight. Basically, not
Hollow Knight and-
specifically Metroidvania players, but Hollow Knight players.
In the game sense, yes, but also players who enjoy Greek mythology, because the story is pretty uh, tied to Greek mythology, specifically the Book of Circe by Madeline Miller, and everyone who pretty much enjoys.
I suppose you're going to use a premium model of premium business model. You're going to sell the game for a specific price.
Yes, I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention the stuff we had too. But yeah, as a price, I think something between 10 and 15 euros is pretty standard and normal. And as for the game, we're planning to sell it on Steam, and also it will be good for Switch and PlayStation also.
Thank you.
Nice presentation. Thank you. I see. I think that it's not just this kind of audience that you're mentioning, but maybe some references that I've seen in the past to Ragnarok. So I know it could sound a little bit weird, but mobile could actually fit here. And I think that you can think of some kind of tweaks and twists for a free-to-play mobile version that could work here, from what I see from the video.
Very nice looking game indeed. I wanted to ask one thing about because you said that you can spare the boss or you can kill him, and killing him gets you on the dark path. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, because that's an interesting idea, but it wasn't touched a lot in the presentation, and I definitely want to hear more about that. Do you have like a evil and good version of the character and many different choices that can lead you there, and how does that work?
It's pretty much the way it works in Undertale, where you can have mercy on everyone and then end up as the good guy, or kill everyone and become pretty much insane. When Cersei was thrown into the island, she was just a girl who made a mistake and decided to try magic. So she can pretty much take revenge on everyone for throwing her there, like she tries to do in the Odyssey when she tries to kill Odysseus' men when they become fixed. But in the end, she decides to help them. So you, as the player, can either try to help people with your magic, or you can do whatever you want, maybe immerse on your evil plans. I think it's gonna work on something like every time you defeat the enemy, like in Undertale, you defeat them, but then there's the story, so you can choose to spare them or you can choose to finish them off, which will eventually make you grow into a different witch. If you are a good witch, you may get healing powers and some shields, something that feels more redempted. But if you decide to go to the dark path, you're going to have, for example, take extra damage because of all the anger you've endured, and maybe be a little more roguelike. Like you have one life maybe a bit more extreme to play.
Good. No, thank you. So did you use any AI?
No,
tools?
no AI was used.
Nice. Okay, thank you.
This is a wolf. Are you?
All right. No? Yes? No? I think the mic is right now. Okay. Yeah, well, piling on the news, turns out the American government has banned using the most advanced models by Anthropic from any non-American, including Americans, non-Americans in America. So these applauses are, yeah, triggered. By the way, you will notice the recurring theme of heroes and mythical heroes in the games, and there is a reason for that. I just realized I forgot to mention that. One of the guests we had here a few months back was Tony from one festival that I'm super sad that I could not attend. It's called, in English, the Prezdevidzim in Bulgarian, Beyond 9 Lands or Territories. And they, together with Georgi Dinchev, sort of a godfather to the topic, the subject, which is mythical heroes. So that's the recurring theme. And now we had 2 out of 6 teams that are finalists playing narratives. And next on stage, we have Anna Maria Peneva, who is leading the team of Hala Helpers. Welcome.
Hello everyone, I'm so happy to finally present you the game we made for the past month. It's called Hexed. First, we will introduce you to the story of the game, then you will learn about the mechanics, you will see the art, and finally, we will watch the trailer. So, the story of Hexed is based on the Bulgarian tale of the 3 brothers and the golden apple, but with a twist. When you fight the Hala, you try to get to the apple before she does. And you do. But then you fell on the ground, and when you woke up, you realized your hand is becoming golden. So you have to follow the Hala, and it seems like she led you a trail. The hook. You become a hero with a golden touch that has to fight against a golden curse. The genre of Hexed is an action-adventure platformer. It's a PC game with a price range between $15 to $20. It's a single player and the target audience is everyone over 16. Mostly players who enjoy playing story games but need a little bit more action, and players who enjoy action games but need a little bit more depth in it. Now you will hear the music from the middle ground. This is the book. It's the most precious thing you have. It holds all the story of your hero and all the things you can gather in your adventure. This is... okay, in Hexed there are 4 archetypes. The first one is the chosen, the second is the warrior, the third is the romantic, and the scholar. Each archetype is chosen by fill the blank in the page, as you can see on the slide. You answer the question and you pick one. For example, if you pick the warrior, you will have more points in your strength than the other archetypes. Also, they have their own little characteristics that you can pick again with fill the blanks. So, for example, you pick the chosen hero and you have the arrogant trait. If you have the arrogant trait, when you speak to NPCs, their answers would be pretty short and you won't get much information from them. This is the menu of the game. Here you see your stats, the relics you've already collected, and the magics you have unlocked. So, magic, yeah, we have this. And how you use magic. We have a system called heroism. It's something between mana and sanity. So when you cast magic, it costs you heroism, but when your heroism gets low, everything is started to get corrupted. Like on the screenshot, the background is black and white, there are eyes on the screen, and the hero is struggling, so he has to find a way to balance it. Balancing it is by using his weapon. His weapon is a normal hack and slash mechanic, which lets him to fight enemies without getting the consequences. Now you'll hear the music from the lower ground. In Hexed Golden, there are 3 realms. The first one is the upper ground. It's mostly the text part where you pick the stats you will have. Then it's the middle ground where you gather all the relics, finding the magic and progressing to the game, leveling up to go to the lower ground. The lower ground is the most difficult part in our game. The choices are harder, the enemies are stronger, and you have to find a way to survive. This is an example of a level in which you can find a secret relic, and the hero has to find a way to get under the 3 roads. Also, another special mechanic that could be found on those maps is the hero's tapestry. The hero tapestry lets our hero to put some points in his stats. For example, if he wants to use more magic and his magic to be more powerful, he will add points into his intelligence. Also, he can decide to use it to rewind the conversation with another character. Here we have conversations with the characters. The first one is with the youngest princess. If he gives her the right answer, he will get a relic called Self-Made Clothes. Self-Made Clothes is a passive relic which allows our hero to have a passive armor buff. If he doesn't give him neither the wrong, neither the right answer, he will get a collectible. The collectibles in our game are music, comic pages, or even cards of the NPCs we talk with. If you answer her wrong, you won't get anything. So the second example is with the oldest princess. The oldest princess is giving you a feather, which is an active relic, so when you use it, you're going to have a little bit speed buff for a certain amount of time. But what is your nature? Will you let the curse take your soul, or you will become a hero of gold? Will you spare the Hala, or you will kill it? Will you let the fox guide you? Will you find where the musicians play and let them heal you? On which ram will you jump? Will you help the innocent? And can you answer all the riddles in our game? Now, this is the concept art we made for our character. He had a lot of different hairstyles and clothes, but we decided to keep what's most closely to the Bulgarian traditional clothing, with making him still appealing for other cultures. This is the Hala concept and her little helpers. There are mini bosses in our game, and each of them has his own ability. For example, this one sets traps. And now, let's watch the trailer. Enjoy. And now I want you to introduce you to the team. The 3D was done by me. The music you listened through the presentation and also the sound design in the trailer was made by Ioana. The art you saw, everything we didn't use AI, was made by Mihaela. The trailer you just watched was made by Alexander, who is in Italy right now, so he can't join us. And the writing is a magic only Nia can do.
But ladies, please join the stage.
Thank you for your attention. We are the Hala helpers, and this is Hexed Golden. Woo.
Great presentation, thank you. Look, I would like to buy your game to my son. He's 7 years old, to his Switch 2. So my question, why limiting the age rating to 16 and up? This title, based on the visuals, I very much like the lore as well. Excellent. Why you're limiting your potential audience with the chosen age rating for the title?
Because in our game there are decisions that can be very tougher, and to take them you have to have a clear mind and vision to understand it, not just to click some random buttons. And we think over 16 players can have more clear vision of what will they answer a certain NPC.
And this cannot be translated to be played by
Probably could. We never actually thought about it. We were just looking for an audience that is close to us, and we think players of this age will like to enjoy the combat and the story. Because most of the young players enjoy only the action part, not so much of the story, as my opinion.
Okay. It's again, it's. I think it's very important to research because we have this excellent. What you're building looks excellent, and you're basically limiting your potential audience, which I think it's very important. When you're in pre-production to think about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Women in Games team. I'm an ambassador, so I'm really happy to see that you're all girls here. And since we're discussing the audience, do you think it would be mostly female or male audience?
To be honest, I think it will be mostly male, but we have talked about that we can make it a multiplayer, so you can take a princess or a brother on your adventure with you. So it's just an idea. We didn't have a showcase to show you right now.
That would be great, yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. One thing that is interesting to me to get more information about, you mentioned the higher ground, the middle, and the lower.
Yeah.
So how does the core gameplay loop work? Do you shift between them, or you start from one and then go towards to the other one, or you teleport between them? So can you tell me a bit more about the game loop itself?
Yeah, so first you spawn in the upper ground where you saw the text part and the stats you pick. Then you go on your adventure in the middle ground. Then by decisions you make through the game, through everything that happens to you, there are actually two branches to the lower ground, but we didn't want to overwhelm the presentation. The one is the good road, if you made only the right decisions, like you're blessed. And the other road is the dark one, if you're cursed. We still haven't given much vision about how would they look, but yeah.
Okay, good. So first, congratulations for the art style. It's really nice. Also, you choose Bulgarian mythology. Do you think it would be interesting for the people, for example, from United States to play this game?
Yes, I think it will be because we tried as much as possible to have the Bulgarian things in our game, but as motifs, not as when you look at it, you know this is Bulgarian traditional clothing. It has things on his shirt, it has the traditional pants, but the visuals of the game are not like this is a game only for the Balkans.
Yeah, great presentation. Thank you. What would you say were your closest competitors or inspirations by game types, or game specifically?
Here in the team, it's me, an action player, and Nia, who plays mostly story games. So we kind of combined our favorite games of each genre and made something that each of us would enjoy. I personally, as a reference, use some things of Dead Cells, Nine Lives, games like this. At the moment, I can't tell more names, but yeah.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you.
A shout out to one of the speakers that we had two actually from Chase a Cloud, who are working on sort of articulating Bulgarian and Slavic mythology to Bulgarians and Slavs and to anyone abroad that have went really deep into the concept of where is this fine line when you draw, when you like how deep you go into the mythology and how adapted you make it for people that are outside of it. Their presentations are on our YouTube channel and they're really, really interesting. And I'm a fanboy because they're very audacious with their ambitions where they want to get. Now, all the way from Ovcha kupel 3. That's actually that's the name of the team. That's Chris, and my sheets here says that it's going to be a few of you presenting, but Chris has the mic first, and then he would present the rest of the team and the game. So, stage is yours. Let's go.
Hello, everybody. So, methodology is usually rooted in ancient civilizations that have already passed, right? And today our game is based on the human civilization. I present to you Vestige. Vestige means a fraction of something that has disappeared in time. We have created an underwater game that is a puzzle platformer, side-scroller, and has a narrative adventure. A drowned world. After centuries of war and famine, humanity meets its end. Now an extinct species, the Earth has been completely submerged underwater. The only remaining species, underwater creatures. Empty, our main character, is an alien student from a galaxy far, far away. He has come to Earth 1,000 years after our apocalypse to finish his master thesis in human studies. He doesn't like humans very much and is not very fond of us. Empty is the right pronunciation. It is also an anagram for time. He doesn't have any empathy in his being, and he is machine-made, though he is a living organism. So what begins as a cold academic research becomes something unexpected, a grief for a species that it never knew. These are our main characters. I already introduced Emtai. This is Bui. He's the witty sidekick, and our main antagonist is this octopus creature who is the guardian. So, Emtai gets dropped like his UFO and immediately submerged underwater. He harbors negative stereotypes for humans, and he's really here just to study and finish his diploma work. His sidekick, Bui, which actually in Bulgarian means shamandura, it's those things that float in the sea, placed by humans, that are always uplifting. He's our sidekick. He's our loyal companion. He's a note-taker. He is our inventory system, and he is also a healer or a DPS, depending on the build that we choose. So he also has the ability to scan items, and he tells the narrative of the story by explaining items he finds along the way. Next is our main boss, the Guardian, our tentacular antagonist. He's an ancient octopus-like being that protects what's left of the species he was attached to. He is a sort of primordial earthling, so he inhibits these human remains and shipwrecks. He also has 3 hearts, as we know that octopus have. That is going to be very important in a moment for the narrative of the story. So after each defeat, he drops an item that Bui scans. Right. These are our many side bosses. The Kelpie is in Greek mythology a sort of underwater horse creature. The Leviathan is a serpent, and the siren has an enchanting voice. These are all rooted in Greek mythology. So, the core gameplay. We have a gameplay loop. Exploration. Exploring platformer puzzles through underwater ruins that sometimes require interaction with objects around you. Then we get fight scenes with mythical sea creatures, mini bosses, and the Guardian. Then we have discovery. We find shipwrecks protected by the Guardian octopus, who we have to defeat, and then we actually learn more about humanity. Entai transforms emotionally. So this is our original soundtrack. Joro, could you play the main theme for a moment? I think so, main theme. Alex will tell you. Alex, our great composer, made a complete soundtrack of the game. Can we return to the slide, please? So, if you like, there's a functional QR code. You can scan it and listen to the whole soundtrack when you have more time, or just follow Snake Raptor on SoundCloud. We can send a link on Discord, I guess, too. All right, awesome. Okay, then. So, the narrative structure is rooted in the concept of tree, with the octopus, the main boss, having 3 hearts. So we have 3 main acts, which all end with an encounter with him. The first act is a pirate ship. The theme is ignorance that transforms into curiosity. That is the emotional building that we have. So Entai discovers a pirate ship that shows him how humans created communities and try to dominate the seas. He is now intrigued by humanity. Then we have the Titanic, where he learns the concept of family. He's building his attachment to humanity and wishes to meet all these people. And between the second and third act, he discovers music, and then he finds a one-man submarine and an unfinished love letter. So he learns of war, love, and grief. So, Act 1, ignorance via curiosity. By the way, here you can see some of the user interface. So the 3 red lines are the main boss's HP bar, and in each encounter you have to defeat one of the HP bars. Scene 1. MT sees the pirate wreck surrounded by chests of gold that further confirm the stereotypes he holds about humans, that they were primitive, greedy, and greedy creatures. So then we have the boss fight. Once defeated, he drops a tattered pirate flag. Then Bowie scans it, and he displays holograms. This is the mechanic by which the the narrative is driven. He plays narratives over the ships, over the shipwrecks, and in this case, the holograms are of pirates singing sea songs, drinking, and fighting. So the mood shift moves from clinical, from empty being this like code being, to slightly appropriating human emotions. I don't have much time left, so I have to pick it up from here. Can we play the first video, the pirate ship? Yeah, so this is an animation featuring the main boss in the first act, and a walk cycle of our main protagonist. You can see some of the level design. There are platforms in front of the ship. which we would have beforehand fought some mobs off. So, okay, this is fine. Sure, yes, please. So now we're moving on. Oh. So I'm sorry, maybe we should, no, in a moment. So the second act is the Titanic sunken, and here the mood gets darker. All its scale, we discover the empty ship with all its glory. After beating the main boss in the second encounter, MTI discovers a photograph of a mother and a daughter who have perished in the sink. Biological reproduction astounds the machine-born alien. Explore family as a concept. So, after that, we get to the third scene where we encounter the Siren, one of our most important mini-bosses. So, the alien discovers a human city protected by more enemies and mini-bosses. He fights a Siren, and during her last moments, she sings a human song. Now can we go to the videos, please, and play the second and the third video? Yes. So this is the city where we encounter the Siren. And these are the mobs we fight off before reaching her. We have health potions, static ranged shooters, and also patrol enemies. Also, these geyser-like platforming boosts that help us platform around. Can we go now to just show the Titanic crash? Yes, this one. So this is our level design for the Titanic that is beforehand. All right, get back to the presentation. So in Act 3, we find this one-man submarine which features a skeleton, the person, a lone soldier who has died inside of it, sunken in time. Here we have no treasure, no grandeur, just somebody who's died in complete loneliness. After defeating the third time our main boss, he drops a letter, a key item, which has been a possession and in writing of the perished human. It is an unfinished love matter from a man fleeing war to reach his beloved. He never made it. Bowie plays a hologram of him writing, and after that we have scene 9. After reading the letter, the alien asks Bowie to sing the Siren's song because he fell in love with music. It tries, but it's wonky and robotic. MTI falls to his knees next to the corpse of the octopus. This is the climax of the game. The alien falls in love with an extinct species that caused its own downfall. So we discovered war, love, and self-destruction. And we begin mourning something that we never knew. So in resolution, the game is open-ended. The alien came to study extinction. We don't know what comes after the song. There's a possibility for a sequel where he might stay on Earth or he reports back to his alien motherland. In the ending, we value curiosity, wonder, and grief. And we made a concept for a puzzle platformer about the most human emotions of all. So, our planned business model is for the game to be available on Steam for €7, paid one-time purchase. It works because our game is short, emotional, and story-driven. No microtransactions, no cash grab downloadable content. The audience that is our target is primary 17-28. More specifically, narrative indie lovers and Gen Z audience that resonates with story-driven games. And the cultural resonance, we believe, would be best in Western Europe and North America, where environmental storytelling style and indie sensibility align with what's popular on Steam in these regions. And also the mythology that we have incorporated in the game is rooted in these civilizations as a backbone. And also in East Asia, like Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, where a combination of melancholy, wonder, and quiet emotions map very closely to what performs well there. The aesthetic of a lone figure exploring a beautiful dead world has proven fan base in these markets. Thank you.
Chris, please present the team while the jury gets their questions.
So
ready.
this is Alex, our great
Come on
composer.
over.
Welcome. This is Vanessa, who is our 2D artist. This is Cveti, our great writer. And Monica, who is our 3D artist. She did the backgrounds and the animation. I did the user interface, developed core concepts, and some of the items.
I see Mihaela has the mic.
Yeah, thank you. Great presentation, great concept. I mean, the narrative is obviously leading here. So why do you think a puzzle platformer is the right genre for telling the story?
Well, you can break the story into steps where the puzzle platformer gives more of a dopamine rush, and then you can take a slow, more quiet approach to enjoying the story.
So one question. So thank you. It's very deep. I mean, it seems that you've done a lot of work. So congratulations about this. You say that mainly focus on Gen Z. Let's summarize. Do you think they will invest, because the game, it seems that is a bit tricky. You have to invest a lot of time. Do you think they will invest so much time and effort for the game?
Can you please let Sveti answer? Can you hand handheld mic, please?
Hi, I'm the writer. So the reason that we think that they will spend this time exploring the game is because it's been proven to work before. Games like Omori, games like Undertale, games like Hollow Knight, games like To the Moon, these are all games with story. The second reason is the price point. It's a very low priced game, which is like an impulse buy. You look at it and you're like, oh, it's $7. That's basically like $5. I'll just get it. Third, this game is actually very short. It's very casual. The gameplay itself, we've talked about it being about like maybe 6 hours of gameplay, which is why it's also priced at $6.99. So actually it's the type of game where you just sit down on the couch on a weekend and it's raining outside and you're just like, I want to play something chill. I don't want to, get my cortisol up high. So that's why.
Thank you. A very interesting concept. One thing that is interesting to me, the story is looks very emotional and has very emotional scenes. Do you think that telling these emotional scenes through holograms is going to be enough to really impact?
We don't want to hold the player's hand in telling the story here. The scenes that you see are very symbolic. The whole game is very like you choose what you want the story to tell you. The story exists standalone, but at the end of the day, you decide what all these things mean. You decide whether you want to bash humanity for causing its downfall via war or climate change. You decide whether to side with the alien or not. I think the holograms themselves are just a way to get the alien to connect to humanity more than just, oh, I'll scan this item, now I've learned about humans.
I love the idea. It's like a little movie. How did you come up with the idea? Did you use any AI?
We use no AI in the developing of the idea. We used a minimum amount of AI just to prepare for the presentation, and our goal was that in the end game, if we get to produce it, we would use no AI at all. just a few assets were developed by incorporating some AI elements like the platforms in the backgrounds and maybe just a graphic or two in the one graphic and the
I
hologram.
think you should use it more. I mean, you can even create the whole sequence. You should. I mean, it's great. Go into it.
Well, maybe, but in the narrative we didn't use AI at all. It is completely written by Cveti.
Excellent presentation again. In a way, your title reminds me of relatively. It's a Serbian classic, actually, released a few years ago. Golf Club Wasteland, and without the golf and with bosses in your case, which is again huge plus in my book. My question is actually two things that I want to mention. One, first, is a question about the gameplay. Your sidekick, are you going to use it only for basically telling the story and UI? Are you going to use it for any gameplay purposes?
No. He has his own mana bar. I didn't mention that, and he has abilities to either be a DPS or a healer sidekick. And if he's a healer, the game balances out by giving us additional DPS to the main character, or vice versa. So if he does DPS, we get more health points.
Excellent.
And we didn't manage to incorporate this into the final presentation, but we had a whole list of ideas of special attack skills and abilities for both the main character and the sidekick, like detachable arms that could even solve puzzles, laser strikes, ranged attacks, telekinetic abilities, force fields that shield us, and others.
Yeah, and the one things I want to mention is again, I think Europe. I don't in big detail your story, progression, etc. But I think it can be very universal story for. And you mentioned, but you're targeting very high age rating as well in this case. And also, I think your game again, it will be it can have a huge audience on Nintendo platforms as well. So you can think about it for sure.
Yes, absolutely. The reason why we're planning to, if we launch it, the reason why we've planned for a Steam launch is because Steam organizes something called Ocean Fest, I think.
Oh,
That's right.
Yes, it's for water games, and we think it's a great shot to debut, and then after that, move on to.
And it's beginning right now, I believe, this month.
Thank you, guys.
Team of Kupel. No, yeah, thank you, guys. One note here. Igor Djuic, the creator of Golf Club Wasteland, which I think was renamed to Golf Club Nostalgia afterwards. He was in Bulgaria for an event, and he's just one great example of the Serbian industry. And he collaborated with one of the most experienced sort of publisher business development people in Serbia. But it's indeed a great game. And he's anyway, very long. You should check out the game. Golf Club Nostalgia is really good. When we wrote the rules of presenting your game, we said that everything that's not explicitly forbidden is allowed. So there is a team called Played, maybe by the narrative or playing by the narrative. That's a little bit more theatrical. They did tell me in advance that we should bear with them because they would take a little bit long, but they promised that most of the questions that the jury would have would be answered in the prolonged presentation. So, Played by the narrative.
Just give me 1 second.
Hello. So, in case something isn't readable, I'm just going to leave you a presentation here. And I think we're ready to go, right?
Think so.
Are you ready?
Born ready.
Go.
Want to roll for initiative? See who
Yeah.
goes first?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Yes. You're first. So, hello everyone. We hope you've enjoyed your time with playing narrative so far.
And can we have a round of applause for the organization, please? Come on. Thank you, everyone.
As you heard, our name is Played by the Narrative. We would like to present to you our game pitch for Hero Spire. We also want to apologize because we were going to be reading from a script, but the big guy kind of made a big fuss about it, so we want to stick to it. You'll see what I mean. Also, before we start, we want to be upfront that we've used generative AI only for the artworks within our presentation. And for transparency's sake, we've created a system to show which art piece has had AI assistance and by how much. Green is a little bit of AI, orange is about 50-50, and red is heavy AI usage. Look for them at the bottom left or right of the screen, and if it's missing, it means it's fully handmade. Also, zero AI in the writing or any of the music.
Everyone has heard about elevator pitches, right? Well, in our case, that's a staircase pitch, because we don't really have elevators in our universe. Hero Spire is a turn-based roguelike RPG mixed with Dungeons and Dragons rules. You play the hero trying to climb his way out of a mysterious tower controlled by an enigmatic entity called the Director. Every run, you will navigate, fight, strategize, or talk your way out through the tower's floors. Each floor is a separate fight at the end. It's a different adventure that represents 10 varying encounters, and of course, a boss fight at the end. If you die, you lose your current run, then you go back to the tavern, maybe cry a little bit about it, and then you try to climb again. The end goal is to reach the top and defeat the Director of the Grand Spectacle. And we guess that some of this sounds quite familiar to you guys. And you would probably ask, what makes Hero Spire truly unique? Well, it's the mix of its core mechanics.
You guys are probably familiar with roguelikes, right? It's an absolute classic. Replay levels, gather items, unlock new powers, and earn meta currency that helps with progression. Well, it's the same within our game. But additionally, each new run you attempt to climb higher and higher and learn why the hell you're trapped in the Spire. Of course you'll die, everybody does, it's a roguelike. And when you do, you'll be welcomed back into the tavern. There, you will rest, gear up, and plan your next climb. We also have recruitable companions. You get to meet them and a wide cast of interesting other characters and learn their stories, personality, and combat styles. Build the ultimate team to take down the Director, or, alternatively, invite some friends and have a fun co-op experience. For D&D, a core element is the choices you make. Well, we also have that. Surprise. In Hero Spire, you can choose your own path and shape the story during key moments, take different sides in a conflict, and face the consequences. And if you're perceptive enough, you might even uncover a few secrets about the tower and the individual tales.
Also, every good story has combat, right? Preferably turn-based because we need some time to think about it. In our game, you can experience the joy of throwing a dice that Dungeons and Dragons is known and loved for, combined with unique gameplay elements that elevate, or in that case, staircase the game. And that brings us to our setting. You all saw the cool tower in slide 1, right? Well, that's where the entire game takes place. Your character's story will begin standing on the vast ocean under a stormy sky, with the tower beckoning them. In a trance, they enter the tower. Beginning their journey, inside they find themselves in a tavern, which seems empty at first, but... Oh, give me a second, it's important. Hello? Yeah, I understand. Yeah, sir, right away. I'm sorry, it was quite important. It was the big guy, and he said that he wants to do the honors of talking, so we're just gonna let him do it now.
Aha! Another soul answers the call. Welcome, welcome! You arrive at precisely the right hour. The next grand journey is about to begin. And I find myself in desperate need of a brilliant leading actor. I have a feeling you'll do splendidly. But where are my manners? Let me introduce myself. You may call me the Director. I am the humble curator of this grand production. Your guide, your audience, and should the need arise, your harshest critic. But do forgive me, I'm getting ahead of the script. This is where it all begins. Each journey is divided into carefully crafted adventures. Tales, each settling on its own floor in the Spire. No tale will ever be the same. One may demand cold steel, another quick wit or restraint. How you approach them is of your own intent. You may battle fierce monsters, unravel deep mysteries, or talk your way out of trouble entirely. Discover secret paths and buried truths, forbidden items and lost wandering souls. As you learn the stories within each play, recruit new allies to join your quest, marching onwards to the top. Unlock mysterious ancient powers to make your ascension lighter. Find weapons, relics, potions, and cursed-haunting curiosities. And at the end of every tale awaits a final challenge, a final grand performance, each befitting of a hero. You will fail, of course. It is inevitable. You will fail and die. Again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. But fear not, for at the summit of the Spire awaits a magnificent prize, worthy of a true hero. And I shall be watching every step of the way.
Just to be upfront, because the symbol wasn't there, there was AI usage in that trailer as well for some of the visuals. But he just about covered everything, but let's do a summary just in case. You play Tales, learn more about the tower. If you die, you go back to the tavern, where you gear up, and eventually, when you get strong enough, you exit the tower.
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, we also forgot to mention that you earn meta currency, as is with roguelikes, called the Director's Favor, which you can spend at the tavern to grow stronger for future journeys.
So, to summarize, the director is an enigmatic master of the tower obsessed with the hero's journey and transforming every floor into a carefully crafted performance, acting as both antagonist and the guide. He talks to both the protagonist and the player directly, pushing them even deeper into his grand spectacle.
And here, you can see some of our concept art for the director, as well as some turnaround sprites you might see in-game. Inspirations for his design were Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2, Jin from League of Legends, the narrator from Battle Block Theater, and Stanley's Parable as a whole.
So now for our protagonist. Some of you might be wondering, why the hell do you introduce your antagonist before your protagonist? That seems like the move, actually, right? Well, usually you should supposed to learn first about the protagonist, then, Well, in our case, it's not important who they are. What is important, though, is who they are not and who they will need to become. In our case, it's a hero, and which is why the director chose him to come into the Spire.
And this will be our wardrobe system, which is part of character creation. For every journey, your character can play a different type of hero: fighter, rogue, or mage, or one of the other 13 classes. In classic D&D fashion, you'll be able to select your class, subclass, ability scores, equipment, spells, and the skills that you'll bring into your next adventure. Newer players of the genre will be able to go with recommended builds that are more plug-and-play, while more experienced players will be able to fine-tune to their heart's content. The wardrobe station will be unlocked from the start and available from the tavern. And here are some of our protagonists in a different class outfits: fighter, rogue, wizard, in this case for the male,
And for the female. Now for some of our map UI mockups. First, the overall tower map. Here you will see an outline of the 4 floors and a quick summary of each tile as you unlock them, depending on ones you get at the current run. Next will be the tile selection, which will be a close-up of the tower, depicting the main conflict of the tale, in that case, an orcish warband attacking a human kingdom. And finally, the map of an individual tale. This will show all the branching paths our hero can take, which chamber they're currently at, chamber status bar, an icon of the final boss, and the current objective. This mockup has all of this revealed, but in gameplay, you will only be able to see one step ahead of you. This could, coupled with the fact that the same chamber type is not always in the same place, makes every journey you take in Hero Spire unique.
Yeah, enough about maps. Let's see some gameplay concepts. Here's a typical encounter the player will face. Here's a scenario. Your character stumbles upon this event and has several choices. You can help protect the princess, join the bandits and share the spoils, attack both and get even more loot, or let it play out and see what happens. In this mock-up, we've listed out the rewards and outcomes, but during gameplay, the player will have to decide without such knowledge. And here is what the player will see for the majority of their gameplay in terms of UI. Classic D&D combat UI. You have the initiative tracker, party status bar, HP bars, and turn button, and the most fun one, the dice thrower. Our team strongly believes that throwing a d20 is super duper fun, so we've kind of included it as part of every action your character can take. And for those of you that find that tedious, you'll be able to make the dice throwing happen automatically in the background. But it won't just be encounters, there'll be puzzles. Like the classic D&D locked door. Just like the previous example, you have an option how to approach puzzles. You can use a wide array of different skills to pass through, or alternatively, you might use an item or handy spells to bypass it entirely. Next, I think it's time we meet some of the NPCs that you encounter in the game. Accompanied by the tavern music in the background. Each NPC is represented by a distinct instrument that, when combined, adds up to the complete theme.
First, is the tavern bartender. While not a vendor nor a companion you can bring in fights, he's third in importance only to the director and the player. He's the only one who lives outside of the tower tales, allowing him to know about the grand spectacle, a fact that might just be key to several important secrets.
And then these are merchant. He provides you items that you can purchase to help with your current run. He's one of the wackier characters you meet, as he only talks via grunts and wears a bell on his set, which is quite weird. He's also special because you can meet him in every tale, unlike some of the other NPCs. Here's also a mock-up of the merchant stall and some of the items that you'll be able to purchase there. You'll be able to find all types of items, so keep an eye out.
Then we get to the first recruitable companion that the player will meet. An aspiring knight. She joins you on your quest just like many other recruitable companions you'll meet in other different tales of the game. By the way, her name is Margaret, and he's like very full of energy.
In contrast to that, this prey lady over here is our alchemist, an essential NPC and vendor that you will meet later on in the story. She will improve your capability to carry better and more potions on your runs, severely improving your chances of reaching the top of the tower. And if you complete her personal quest, you might just be in for a secret surprise.
And here's a visualization of our tavern. The player will be able to recruit most of these guys you see on the slide, and they will be able to bring them back here, where they will act as vendors or companions in the tavern between your runs. By bringing them outside of the tales, they will begin regaining their memories. Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention, on death, the tower reset itself. Sorry. Our loot, tale story progress, and most importantly, NPC actors, memories go back to 0. So bringing them to the tavern saves them from that fate and allows them to remember who they were before entering the tower.
So, that's all well and good, but what is at the top of the tower, you ask? What awaits us there? Is it a wish, a way out, or something else entirely? Let's see, shall we? This is what awaits our hero at the top. One final tale, one more challenge, one last boss, the director himself, a grand final performance. And trust us, despite how he looks, he won't be an easy fight. The director will use a lot of different tricks to keep you on your feet, play around with you, and ultimately try to send you back to the tavern. He can't afford losing his star, can he? And what if you do beat him? Would that really mean it's over? Is it just beating him enough? Or are there other requirements needed? Other secrets inside the tower that need to be uncovered in order to reach a true hero's ending? Who knows? Only one way to find out.
Well, that's all cool and fun, but I think it's time to talk about some of the not so fun parts, and we're talking about numbers. First, let's look at who our target audience is. Our primary is Dungeons and Dragons and Baldur's Gate 3 players, with RPG and roguelike players being our secondaries. Players who enjoy exploration, turn-based combat, and more casual experience will feel right at home.
So, let's look at some competitors, shall we? Some big names up there, Quite the big shoes to fill. Well, what if we told you we strongly believe that there's a market gap between these giants that is underexplored? I'm talking about the combination of roguelike and D&D RPG games. Can you think of any names? One, maybe two, pop to your mind, right? In fact, one of the most popular Baldur's Gate 3 mods is a mod that transforms it entirely into a roguelike, which means that there's a significant demand for such a product. So, in comes Hero Spire. With this unique genre mix combined with a large target audience and the high retention rate that roguelikes inherently have, you can maybe start to understand why we're so sad about this game and why we believe it has a real chance to be a smash hit.
And to break it down with some numbers, RPGs make up to 70.1% of Steam's revenue. Roguelikes are in the top 3 most successful games genres in the last decade, with multiple breakout hits every year. And narrative games are one of the fastest growing game categories in 2025, growing by 8.2% every year, while already being valued at a massive $40.2 billion.
And here are some of the platforms we envision the game on: Steam, Steam Deck, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and potentially Nintendo Switch 2 and mobile. And that brings us to our scalability, which is another unique selling point of our game. Since each tale is self-contained, we can add new ones pretty easily. The whole system's pretty plug and play. This means we can allow players to buy tales individually or in packs, with discounts if you already own some of the items included, allowing players to engage only with the content they like. The current plan is to sell the main game at a price of about 15 to 25 euro, which include 16 base tales. Each additional tale would be priced at about 2.5 to 5 euro, with packs being 10 to 15 for a pack of 4. We can even throw in some freebies like Christmas or Easter tales during holidays to generate extra engagement for our game.
And finally, that brings us to us and our amazing team. Can you please join me on stage? And meanwhile, if we could please have another round of applause for Denis Boagiev, who is over there.
Stand up! Stand up!
Stand up! He's our director, and also Maria Anastasova, who helped with the voice acting. So we made this whole concept in only 1 month with a budget of 0. Now imagine what we could make with an actual budget. So that leaves us with only one question left.
Would you dare be our next hero?
No. I don't like.
We're open for questions.
We're only into questions. Thank you very much. Yeah. Martu wasn't kidding about how long in detail will be your presentation. Excellent presentational skill, guys. Congrats. Just one question, because for the roguelike title, usually you die a lot. But you didn't explain exactly how much the world will change after every turn, after every death.
It resets completely. Each tale is a self-contained story.
I mean, the level design specifically.
The level design,
will
so
be modular, or
it is kind of modular. So each tale in itself would have about 30 rooms that we count scenes for each of them, and they are not in order. So every time you play through a tale, it's going to be a different order every time. Okay. So it's going to be a unique experience every time.
Yeah. Okay.
2 more questions, please.
It's a big scope.
I love the market positioning and the presentation, but yeah, we'll keep it short.
That was not a question, but so 2 more.
We appreciate it anyway.
Do you have rehearsal? Excuse me, rehearsal before? I mean,
Yes, of course.
Okay.
We hardly slept last night.
Yeah. Because anyway, the presentation was good, but you have 7 minutes more than your time, which is interesting.
We're quite ambitious, so.
No questions. I'll help Martin get back on time.
All right,
Congrats.
Cool. Now we're. Thank you, guys. Applause. Yeah, it's funny. Last team presenting today is called Sometimes on Time, which was not pre-designed. That's not premeditated. But yeah, so I think he needs to be mic'd up first. Yeah, so thank you, Milin, for being the bad cop here, because we truly had this one condition, but I decided to let it go with the disclaimer on the timing, but it was a great presentation indeed. So it's Radoslav Atanasov, his team, and the team name is Sometimes on Time, which is, as he said, what was the verb you used? Manifesting. Because he came for the rehearsals earlier today, and didn't work out the presentation, so it was almost on time, and we are almost on time, so sometimes we are on time. So applauses for Sometimes on Time.
An unusually long winter has taken upon the world. And one night, a boy hears a tale about a mysterious goddess who is responsible for the endless cold. Filled with rage, he vows to find this goddess and save his people from all the suffering. This is Kai and Last Winter. Kai is a character with a strong sense of justice, has pure intentions, and sometimes may be naive, but throughout his journey, he becomes from a foolish boy to a real hero. Not so long after the journey, Kai gets lost in the woods and sadly falls into a river and drowns. Or so it seems. Turns out the river is actually a portal to the spirit world. There he meets the raven, which will be Kai's guide throughout his journey as well as the players. The raven will hide its true intentions for a while, but it will lead Kai to that mysterious figure. Kai will soon learn that the spirit world is filled with trapped dark spirits. Remember, those spirits are not enemies, although they'll try to kill you, but they're just lost souls consumed by fear and darkness. You're going to need a tool to free the spirits, and you're going to do that so with the lantern, which will not only light the dark spirits, but also reveal hidden paths, purify corrupted areas, and solve environmental puzzles. The reward from freeing the spirits is actually the interaction with them and learning more about Slavic mythology and its creatures. Of course, remember, they'll try to kill you, so you need to defend yourself, and you're going to do that so with the help of an axe, which you stole from home. With it, you also break barriers, activation mechanisms, and traverse environments. Who is that mysterious figure, you might ask? It's Morana, the goddess of winter and death. She is a very complex character, and she's driven by her desire of finding happiness and love, but uses wicked and ill-advised ways to satisfy her own disappointment of existence. Not all spirits and mythological creatures you meet will try to kill you, as I said 3 times. Some of them will be friends, which you haven't met before, but they have met you in the human realm. One of them is Leshy. Again, another Slavic mythological creature, which I hope we have all heard for. We have 3 game pillars, which are meaningful exploration, strong narrative mystery, and distinctive visual presentation, which is in the form of handcrafted 2D environments and 3D characters. Our audience is casual gamers and puzzle and action lovers, which combines the best of both worlds, as Hannah Montana said, and fantasy and mythology enthusiasts. Ideally, we plan to launch it on Steam and handheld consoles like the Switch between 10 and 15 euro, because we want to make it as accessible as possible and everybody can buy it and play it. This is a story about loss, belief, and the courage to challenge the gods. Will Kai save the world by killing Morana or by understanding her? Thank you so much. This is us, sometimes on time. we were on time, actually. So we have Misha for the music and sound. Please come here. Come. Mihaela which modeled the 3D characters and helped with the background with a 2D art. Christina with the creative writing, which worked on the world building and how the player interacts with the world. And Alex, which created those beautiful animations. And I am really proud, and I could have done it without anybody else.
Dear jury.
Thank you. Also, I did not get like what is the exact genre of the game.
Oh, sorry. It's an action adventure platformer.
Okay. And so, if it's an action adventure platformer, what makes it truly unique amongst all other action adventure platformers?
It's the narrative mystery of the whole game and the fact that it's not only puzzle or combat focused, but it's both. So there's a lot of room for more people to enjoy the gameplay and not only the story.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you being on time. So it's really nice style of art style, and just one question regarding the target audience: is it appropriate for kids, and what age?
Well, probably pre-teenagers at most. I'll say kids from 12 to above, only because of the fact that our game has a lot of story involved. And personally, when I think of games I have played myself when I was little, I just clicked through all the dialogue and wanted to go right to the action.
And on the action, can you explain the combat system a little bit more?
The combat system is that after every level, you have a mini boss battle, which will be a spirit, which you have to free. And based on the spirit itself, for an example, the Rusalka, they'll try to strangle you with their hair. So you have to use the axe to cut the hair off and free yourself.
Sounds nice. Did you use AI?
No AI included. That's what I wanted from our team to make a game that was entirely human-made with the time we had.
The main characters' visuals remind me of Link from Zelda Wind Waker.
That's
cel
my-
shade.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. My question is that my colleagues already asked questions about the specific genre, but my question is how about the camera perspective. Is it will be 3D, 2D, isometric, or something in between?
It will be a 2D perspective. I think.
2D perspective.
Yeah,
Okay.
2D perspective.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. You can sit back. Yeah, this was all of the participants. And I would ask the jury to convene. There should be a room organized for you, I think, I hope. And yeah, we have roughly, I don't know how much time exactly. Sandra, would you please help the guys to get to the... There should be one with Błaga organized. Okay. Just allow us a minute. Put the white smoke. We have white smoke. For those of you who don't get the reference, that's how a pope is elected. So we'll see whether we have a winner or a news from Vatican. But going back, yeah, it's like this thing that, you know, like what a festival, what a... We try to be rational beings, but we are very emotional beings. And we tend to overthink complex stuff for weeks, months, years. And then our decision is 180 degrees of what we rationally decided about. And it's like completely controversing with what objective reality has to say. So I had a small decision like this. I tend to go like into rabbit holes, but 3 years ago at another event, we were on stage at Kosher where we had this event Creative Buzz. And I was hosting Yasin and other organizers of game jams. And we spoke for roughly 30 minutes. And the conclusion was game jams are great, but what comes after? Like what's next? You know, like you create this energy, you create this emotion, and it evaporates most of the time. It doesn't disappear, it just changes direction. And I was thinking about this like today, and so what we will have, I don't know how exactly it's going to look like, it's about to be shaped, but hopefully we will have another season of Playing Narratives. I'm, let's say, 90% certain that next year we're going to have it as well. Most likely it's going to be announced or kicked off in November at the Good Game Festival. But then I've always dreamt and imagined something where the Shark Tank format meets Twitch and is about games. And that is actual direct business opportunity for people that are making games. So we're going to be making this year at Good Game Festival. I still, again, I don't know how exactly it's going to work, but there would be some very strong financial and non-financial incentives for the participating teams where they will not be presenting concepts, but more like something that needs to be actionable and that needs to move forward. And that's an open invitation for the guys from Serbia. But yeah, many other things. Stay tuned. 2nd of November until 11th of November, Pirotska 5. I hope it's going to be great. And now, without further ado, please, is there I don't know, who from the jury would have the honor to join me on stage to present?
The math guy.
The what? The math guy?
Math. Yeah, the jury agrees that the ones with calculation should go in front of you and make the decisions. Should we say the third, second, and fourth?
Yes, please.
Okay. So in terms of points, we have 94, 96, and 104. So this is the points are very close. So congratulations, it was hard. They put it in this dungeon over there, and we tried to. And Martin closed the door and say, "Okay, now." So the third one, team one, yeah, obviously the third place is for the team one, Ekip. Congratulations.
No.
Okay. On the second place is team 5, Play by Narrative. And on the first place is team number 3, Hala.
Thank you, Milin. No, stay here, please. And now I would like to, we always fuck up the award ceremony, or at least if I'm involved, you can be guaranteed of that, but not the jury. I'm not involved with that. So I'd like to invite the team that placed third to join us on stage for a second. The whole team, please.
Okay.
I know it's a competition, and I know it feels like one, but to me, and I don't say it because like it's a nice thing to say, I think like we all get to win something, and especially looking and moving forward with the upcoming play narratives and everything. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for contributing with your game, and congratulations. And yeah, sure, Mike's yours.
Thank you. Thank you to the jury.
Yeah. As I said, I always mess up the award ceremony. Sorry for that. Next time we got to script it better. But yeah, thank you. You can sit. Gala, we have the pictures, right?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Next one is...
Yeah, the second place, team number 5, play by narrative.
You have a mic? I have a question to the jury here. Would the scoring have been different if there was the timing?
For sure.
Probably. Okay. Okay. No, but impeccable presentation and very, very deep, thoroughly designed. I think, like, to me, it checked all the boxes that I would ask. What you said that if the jury would have fewer questions if you had the extra time, I think that was factual. So congratulations. I hope to see you continue the effort, and we'll see the hero.
You will.
Congrats, guys. Great job.
Maybe just to answer more questions. So we have 5 different criteria, and 5. So 2 of them was related with the presentation and the quality of answer. So we pushed the bars for the first 3, but for the 4th and 5th,
okay,
5th we are very. So anyway, the winner is in number 3, Hala.
Žarka music. Oh, Jesus. Mr. Sam was a победит. I don't know. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much. I really can't believe that we really won. I'm so happy and thankful for all the jury that, yeah. But all the other presentations were awesome as well. So I think it's not about the winning, it's about the experience we gained. So I'm happy you all gained some experience in the process.
Now, that's a platinum game of the year. Actually, you won from the year 2077, which is a wink to this parallel universe that we all, I believe, spent time with, created by CG Project Red. So I hope that you get platinum before that, but this one goes to you, to the team in general. And yeah, a small, I would say this is a challenge, not a reward. So like it's a $50 voucher per person that you can spend on games you like. So I think success in life is largely due by managing focus. So use it wisely towards your whatever direction you decide to go to.
Thank you so
and
much.
yeah.
Now I'm even more nervous than when I was.
We're gonna kill it fast. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, one more cringy award ceremony goes into the books due by me. But honestly, thank you very much for being with us here today, offline, online, and on video on demand. To me, it was a great adventure that would not have happened if it was not for the people that supported the whole thing. So I usually am the last guy to say this thanks, but this time I will, because I really feel it. First, it started as an idea and as a question for me to Mihaela. Hey, what about playing narratives? We do it in Bulgaria. Then I think Nenad was the second person then that I joined, and then Tatiana and Christina. So thank you guys for the support, inspiration, and guidance. And I really do believe that it's not about Bulgaria, it's not about Serbia, but there is a larger context that we can think of, and that we should tap the power of this regional context. So thank you guys, and thanks the Serbian Games Association for kicking off Playing Narratives. Then another one goes to all the speakers and lecturers that were part of the presentations here and online, and thank you for the patience. And again, thank you for the patience. I did not answer some of the questions in time, and so on and so on and so on. So but that stays between us. Thank you for all of you part of Playing Narratives, all 30 of you that also, what is the past tense of bear? So bore with me. On the lack of details every now and then. Definitely Playing Narratives was not perfect this edition, but I don't think it ever will be. But we definitely know how to make it better, and we will make it better, hopefully, when we kick it off next time. Big thanks to the French Institute who have been hosting us. Big thanks to Big Loop Studios. Is there anyone from Big Loop here today? No, they were tempted by Greece or maybe delivery dates. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for all of you. Thanks for to everyone, and that's it. Now we need 5 minutes to pack up. Like not really pack up, but like get going, and we go Bar Friday. There should be some drinks at the outside bar waiting for us, and let's catch up the conversation there. And of course, that goes for the winners, right? Is it what? Ah, this is good, buddy. Okay, there are more stuff, but we will take care. Thank you very much.